welcome to today's video. So today I am doing a full face of brand new drugstore makeup. I have everything from foundation to eyebrow gel to eye primer, eyeshadow, everything. Literally pretty much anything that you can think of. I'm going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of these products and show you how they work. I'm going to show you how they wear throughout the day as well. I do think it looks pretty good so far, but if you want to see how it applied, then just go ahead and keep watching. Alright guys, so the first step, as you know, if you've been watching me, that I do typically is start off with eyeliner. I actually have two different eyeliners to try out today. I wanted to test out as many products as I could at once. So first we have the Matte Signature Liquid Eyeliner by L'Oreal. This is in the shade black. And then I have the Maybelline Hyper Easy Eyeliner. I'm guessing this one is more of a felt tip. Oh no, let's see, it's a flex brush tip, similar to the NYX Epic ink liner that I use. The L'Oreal one is a precision tip. We'll just have to open it to see what kind it is. So I'm going to do the Maybelline on my left side and then the L'Oreal on my right side. So we're going to start off with the L'Oreal. I feel like my makeup's going to look super crazy today. What these kind of days are about. It looks like this. This is the L'Oreal one. They have several different shades that I was actually interested in, and even Thomas was mentioning that the gray shade that they have looked interesting, and if it works, maybe I'll go get it. This one is like a tiny little brush tip. I'm just going to go ahead and go on my right eye, and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to do a wing today because I just want to see how these perform like with a regular, just a straight line. So right off the bat, this looks like a pretty standard eyeliner. There's nothing significant about it that is differing it from other eyeliners that I've used. This is not my ideal applicator. Typically I do like one more like this, like a tiny brush tip that looks like a felt tip. So I was kind of skeptical about that, but I did want to try it out because it's supposed to be matte. Oh, it's drying, and it is drying to a matte finish. I'm going to let that continue drying, and we're going to look at it after I finish applying this. I'm going to go into the Maybelline one. This is in pitch black. Hopefully these colors aren't like super different. I doubt they will be. This one I saw after I saw the other one, but I was like, this looks good and like something that people would like. This one is not as precise as the other one. It's a little bit of a bulkier tip. So I'm going to just put a regular line on my left eye, and we're going to see how this one works. So far, I do feel like I have a little bit more control with this because it's a little bit stiffer, not stiff, but that one's really flimsy. So I feel like so far I'm having more control. I did have an easier time applying this one just because I'm more used to this kind of tip. It is thicker than the NYX Epic ink liner that I usually use. Like the tip is not as precise. I had to kind of acclimate to it. The other eye, if you can kind of see, is a little less bold. Like it's black, but it almost has like a smudged effect. I don't know if you can see it. I wish you could. This one is more precise like I'm used to. It doesn't mean it's bad, but I do have to work with this one a little bit more, which again is the L'Oreal Matte Ink Signature. Now we're going to go on to mascara, and I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to discuss with you after this is done drying which one I think is better off the bat. So for mascara, I also have two different mascaras. I have the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift. This is in the shade Blackest Black, and this one I've seen all over the place. This one I have not seen anywhere except for Physicians Formula's website. And it is the Rosé All Day Mascara. If you've kind of been following my channel for a while now, you know that I like the Rosé All Day Serum. That is my day serum. I recently tried in a Battle of the Eyeshadows video the Rosé All Day Bouquet eyeshadow palette, and I wasn't super impressed with it, but I wasn't super disappointed in it. It was just kind of a mediocre run-of-the-mill palette. I'm interested to see how this one works and also how this one works. Since this is Maybelline, I just put it on my left eye with a Maybelline eyeliner. And then I'll put this one with the L'Oreal eyeliner just because, I don't know, a theme. So I'm going to start off with the Rosé All Day. And this one, it says extreme length and volume. It has a lash lifting blend. It is a highly pigmented, extremely volumizing and lash lengthening mascara that conditions and opens the eye area with dramatic full bloom lashes. I'm just going to go ahead and open this and start applying it to my right eyelashes. The bottle looks like very cute. It's kind of got this ombre cap over here. This is what the brush looks like. So let's go ahead and start applying. I hope this goes well. That is the first layer. Pretty subtle. From what I've heard for Physicians Formula mascaras, you usually have to like let it dry and then do another layer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it sit here for a second and then come back and put on another layer and see if maybe that makes a difference. I kind of hope so because this is not satisfactory at all. So yeah, I'm going to let that sit for a second and then come back and reapply some. So I've let it sit for about 30 seconds and now I'm going to go back into the mascara and reapply a second coat and let's hope it adds some volume. So it didn't add volume, but it certainly added length. My standard is doing 3 coats of mascara, so I'm going to actually go into the other eye with the Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift. This one promises instant lash lift and dramatic volume and length. It has a double curved lifting brush that grabs the lashes at the roots and lifts. It has fiber infused formula that thickens and extends lashes with wear that lasts all day. It's not supposed to clump, smear, or flake. Here's what the brush looks like. You've probably seen this kind of brush on Maybelline mascaras, so let's see. Do you guys remember the 1x1 mascara from Maybelline that like discontinued about 4 years ago? It was in that red tube. Gosh, I loved that mascara. Maybelline and CoverGirl mascaras used to be like my jam. And then I discovered Lash Paradise. Alright, for sure this one has more length at the beginning than the other one does. I am, of course, going to add more coats to that to try to match the lashes. I'm going to go back into the Physicians Formula one and add another coat over here. I'm seeing the length build up, but the volume is not really there, if you ask my opinion. Alright, yeah, so this one is definitely more of a lengthening formula, if you ask me. I don't really know why they're saying it's volumizing. It's not. I'm going to go back on the other eye with the Maybelline one, and let's see what happens. I wanted to get 2 eyeliners and 2 mascaras because I noticed how many things were launching, and I wanted to cover as many bases as I could with you guys, so that way you kind of knew what you were getting. So this one is definitely, sorry for all the mascara on my eyelid. This one over here on the left, the Maybelline one, is better right off the bat. I like it more than the other one. I'm going to go ahead and add a third layer to it to kind of match the other side. Before I move on, I did want to say I got the lashes to like match or whatever, and I like this one. Like if I had to buy it, I would. It's not my favorite for sure, and it doesn't provide the volume it promises. Like, it makes it sound like it's going to be super volumizing. It's not, but that's okay. It's good if you want a natural lash, and it's good if you want to build up to a more dramatic lash. Like, it definitely adds the length. The Maybelline Falsies Lift Mascara I really, really like so far. It definitely performed more off the bat than the Physicians Formula one did. So I'm interested to see how these will wear, if they will smudge, flake, any kind of stuff like that. Neither one of these are waterproof formulas because I don't usually wear waterproof. I don't like waterproof. On to the next, we have a putty eye primer from e.l.f. I thought this was super interesting. You know, e.l.f. is really known for their poreless putty primer. They recently came out with 2 other versions, the matte putty primer, which we're going to be trying out today, and a hydrating putty primer that I didn't like in an e.l.f. review video in December. So this is a putty eye primer. They have 4 different shades. I got the shade Cream. I ordered these directly from e.l.f. and there's a very interesting story behind that because I actually ordered these 3 weeks ago and I got a package delivered by them with literally nothing in the box. So they had to resend it to me. I was really annoyed, especially with like other things that have gone wrong with this video. I was trying to record this video like 2 weeks ago and I couldn't until today because I had to wait for everything to show up on time. But anyway, first world problem. This is what the packaging looks like out of the little box. It's very lightweight. And this is what it looks like. This looks like my Makeup Revolution one that I really like. And it also reminds me of the MAC one that everybody raves about. So I'm just going to take my finger. Oh my goodness. Is anything coming off? Okay, this is super strange. I'm like digging my finger in there. And like barely anything is coming off. Oh no! I'm so nervous. Alright, well I guess I'll just take the very little bit that I have. Now it looks like I have more because I just like dug my finger in there. I don't have a very good feeling about this now. Which would be really disappointing because I was actually really looking forward to using this. I just put it on my eye, and you can barely see a difference. So I'm going to get some more. We have a little bit more showing up, but you can still totally see my veins. Oh boy, I'm going to take it and do the other side and pray. This is super strange. Am I supposed to dig my finger into it? So I dug my finger into it and then wiped on the back of my hand right here to try to get it. It didn't make a ton of difference. Oh no. It's actually kind of messy. I was so excited about this too. Well, I finally got it to work, at least that way. I just finished with this. It looks interesting. It looks a little cakey. It's coming out really yellow. And this is supposedly close to the same shade of my Makeup Revolution one that I adore. So I'm hoping that the eyeshadow I'm using is going to perform some magic. So off the bat, I would pass on this. It's way too much work. It's cheap feelings. It just doesn't work like the Makeup Revolution one. If you want a putty type thing but you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, just buy the Makeup Revolution one. It was like $8, this was $6, so not worth $6. I wouldn't even buy it for 2 or 1, or, you know, I wouldn't buy it. I'm going to go in with the little eyeshadow palette I purchased. It is a Milani Most Wanted palette. They came out with a lot of different palettes. You saw the Gilded Collection, or part of it, in my eyeshadow battle video if you watched that. This is in Outlaw Olive, so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to really dive into that green or if I'm going to play it safe and maybe put that on the lower lash line or something. I also have a little shadow liquid glitter eyeshadow thing from e.l.f. and this is in the shade Flirty Birdie. So I might try that out. I'm first going to go into this very simple shade right here to set that terrible eye primer that I just used. In with the brown and maybe put that green shade on the lower lash line. Alright, off the bat, pretty good. It's a little patchy, which I'm surprised about. I swatched these shades, and they seem to be pretty pigmented. Of course, you know, they might not be patchy. This might be the eye primer that I was using. So, I'm definitely after, like, you know, I'm testing all these brand new products together, so this is a first impressions, and then I'm going to, you know, try it with all of my regular products that I know I like and see if maybe, you know, different primers affect different foundations or different eye primers affect different eyeshadow palettes. So, you know, it really is like based on how well things work together. So I'm going into this Real Techniques brush and hopefully going to blend this out a little bit. I mean, that is definitely helping. Just blending and blending and blending. Pretty much looks like it's about as good as it's going to get. I'm probably going to go in later after my foundation and stuff with this green shade just to see how maybe that performs. I wasn't super impressed with these shadows, but I also have a feeling, you know, it might be that putty primer because I'm having, it's almost like my eyelid is super sticky. Like, this wouldn't come out at all, but like, I even set it with the beige, or with the skin tone shade in here, in this Milani palette, and it just, I don't know, like, it feels like I'm tugging, and I never have that problem with Milani eyeshadows. Like, they're not always super consistent across the board. Like, there are little differences between palettes and collections, but not this much. So I'm definitely going to have to give you guys an update about if it's the putty primer that's making it perform like this, or if it really does perform like this. e.l.f. Liquid Glitter Eyeshadow. I really like the Milani ones. You guys know this. I feel like I've said Milani like 20 times in the past minute. But the Milani ones are super good. The Hypnotic Eyeshadow Lights, whatever they're called. These I've never heard anybody talk about. Like, I know that people have done reviews on them, but I've purposefully not watched them. Like, these came out, I think, I think these came out in late December, and they came to stores in January. I ordered this off of Ulta's website, so I went with the shade that most relates to me. It's a rose gold looking shade. It's so tiny. The Milani ones are like this long. This one looks like a little mini Stila one. What in the world? Yeah, I'm gonna do it like I do the Milani one and just kind of dot it on my hand first and then go in with my finger. Now with the Milani one, I have to let it dry on my hand for a little bit, but I don't know if we have to do that with this one. So we're just gonna see. It's very pretty. think I need to let it dry on my hand before I go back in because it's a little bit wet and a little bit hard to navigate. There we go. So I find this interesting because it looks more rose gold in here, but it looks more silvery on my eyelid. I'm going to take just a little bit more and go in, well, after I let it dry, I'm going to go on my other eye and see what happens there. Okay, so what I'm noticing with this is you need to go in with a wet application first, and then when you're going reapplying over it to make it more vibrant, to go in with a drier one. Interesting. It isn't like competing with the Milani ones. I finally finished with this. It's kind of strange, like when you're first applying it, I would put it on my hand, not go directly in. You have a little bit more control that way. You have to go in when it's wet, and then when you're building it up, you need to let it dry on the back of your hand first before going in with other layers. Very interesting. It also changes colors because this does not look like this on my eye. If you ask my opinion, this is very silvery looking, and this is rose gold. Now, on to the base product. Like, this was like the video of primers. We have the Milani Rose Primer. This is to prep and hydrate. I was going to put on my outer realms of my face. Then I have the matte putty primer, like I mentioned. This is with kaolin clay and white charcoal. Didn't even know there was such a thing as white charcoal. And then I have this really interesting product from e.l.f. I've never seen anything like it. It's a sheer blurring under eye primer with hyaluronic acid. It's kind of supposed to prep and depuff the under parts of your eyes before going in like with base products and concealer. So basically I'm going to go in with this on the outer parts of my face, this on the T-zone, and this on my under eye. We're going to see how this goes. This one needs to sit the longest. I'm going to go in with this one first. So it's very plain. It has like a peachy tone, no smell, but very jelly-like. It's very shiny feeling. So far, I mean, there's not really much I can tell, but like it seems to be fine. So now I'm going to go in with the matte putty primer from e.l.f. And I didn't like the hydrating one. I do like the poreless one. And I'm hoping that this one provides a little bit of poreless just because I hate pores. So I'm going to go in like I normally do and do this. This is white, whereas the other one, like the original one, is like a pinky neutral tone. So I'm just going to kind of do it like I normally do. So it is seeming to like blur my pores a bit, which I'm appreciating because I need that. And so now I'm going to go into the Milani one. And by the way, the matte one so far I like more than the hydrating one because it doesn't have any sparkle in it, obviously. Just random side note. But the Milani one, I think the packaging is gorgeous. It's like rose, pretty tone. So I'm going to take this just on my hand. Okay, it smells like rose. Like, exactly like rose. It's kind of like very, very lotiony feeling. I'm going to let the primer sit for a little bit because I like to do that before I actually put on foundation. So I'm going to let it sit for like a minute or so, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to start on all the face products. So the foundation I'm going to be trying out today is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. This is obviously the wrong shade. I ordered it off Amazon, and you know how buying online is. It's hard, but this is the first place I saw it. They're putting it in Walmart and drugstores currently. This is very new. It is supposed to be geared towards people with mature skin, which I don't have, obviously. So I'm just kind of trying it for that, you know, because I want to accommodate to those who watch me that may not be 23 years old, or may be, you know, like older, like in their 30s and older. I don't know how to say this without being rude, but it is geared towards more mature skin. So it is radiant. It doesn't indicate at all what kind of coverage it has, but I'm guessing not very much because it's a serum foundation. It has antioxidants and concentrated serum in it. There's not really anything other than that. The packaging looks like this. This is in the shade Cream Beige, which looks a lot less orange online. So yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm going to test the wear of it. I'm sure Thomas is going to say something about how it doesn't match. But you know what? I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to apply it on one side with a brush, and then go over with sponge. And then on the other side, I'm going to be using my Tati Beauty Blendiful, which I've still really been enjoying, just to kind of see like how it works. So I'm just going to take it on my palette like I normally do, and let's see. It's super runny. So I'm going to go in on my right side over here with a brush and sponge. Definitely the wrong shade. Oh no. Hopefully my face powder and stuff will lighten it up so it's not so harsh. Oh gosh, the smell. Why does it smell like that? It smells like paint. Please don't break my skin out. I just got over breakouts. I'm still dealing with one. Does this have full coverage? Oh my gosh, if it does, I'm going to be literally so excited. No, it's not full coverage. But it does look like it might be medium. That's actually applying really, really pretty. I'm going to go over with this, my Eco Tools sponge. I'm going to go in on the other side now with the Tati Beauty Blendiful and see how this goes. So I'm going to go back into the other side with my brush and kind of build up the coverage where I need to, because I have some scarring I want to, cover. I'm going to go back into the Tati Blendiful and do my other side and try to cover up that a little bit more. So the foundation actually is looking really nice. I'm really surprised. I thought I was going to hate it. I'm going to drag it to my neck here in a second, but I did want to jump into concealer. I will have to say a couple things about this foundation. It's very radiant, so if you don't like radiance, don't buy this. It does have decent coverage. You can still kind of see this through here, which is bothering me, but sacrifices for the tube. So for my concealer, I'm going in with the Natural Defense Concealer by Physicians Formula. This one I saw on Ulta's website, and it's going to be available at other places, but so far it only has 2 shades, like light, medium, and then like deep. So I wasn't impressed with that. Hopefully that will not continue. It has like a thing kind of like the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind does. Just trying to squeeze that. Oh my gosh, I have a feeling like it's gonna like explode on me or something. So I actually went ahead and applied the concealer, and my phone ran out of storage, so I had to go in and delete stuff, and I thought I was recording, but it wasn't, which is why it's not on camera. I used this in case that was cut off. It's okay. I'm not overly impressed with it. I think it's just kind of standard, and I was really disappointed in the shade range that they have. I mean, really only 2 shades. Come on, really. So, I mean, it's not super coverage or anything. It's just kind of whatever. So now we're going to hop into loose powder and base powder and all of that kind of stuff. Now onto the loose powder. So for the loose powder, I have the Infallible Loose Setting Powder in the shade Light Medium, Translucent Light Medium. Off the bat, why is this so small? I don't understand why it's so tiny. I've seen people review this, like I've seen that it be in their thumbnail or whatever, but I haven't actually heard anybody's opinion, so I'm really interested to see how this goes. I like loose powder, so hopefully I will like this one, even though it is ridiculously priced for the amount you get. This is $11.99 for this tiny little thing, and it doesn't even tell you how much you get, but I mean, the Coty Airspun, that I love, you get a whole tub of it for like $5, and then the Maybelline Fit Me, also a larger tub, and that is also like $5.94. But let's see how it performs. So while that is setting, I'm actually going to move on to eyebrows because, I like to bake. So for eyebrows, I have 2 different products. I have the new Milani Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Taupe. I hope this is not going to be too dark for me. Their shade range was a little bit weird. They had like a really light blonde, which is orangey. As you know, I've talked about before. I don't like orangey. It doesn't work. I have more ashy blonde brows. For the other one, we have the new Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. This is a brow gel. This is in the shade Blonde. So I've never used a colored brow gel before, so I'm interested to see how this is going to go for me. So here's the spoolie. It's kind of short, actually. And the brow pencil comes out straight across, not sleeves or anything like that. So I'm just kind of going to comb them up and hope for the best. No, I'm not going to do this until, like, this is like one of my very last steps. So I'm going to go back to the face, and now I'm going to kick off this bake, and we're going to see how it worked. I mean, the powder did do a nice job. It's smoothing everything out. But now I'm going to go into face powder, and I'm trying the e.l.f. Sheer Tint Finishing Powder in the shade Fair Light. This is what the packaging looks like, very reflective. And here's what the powder itself looks like. Maybe it'll kind of dial down this. I need to blend it out a little bit more over here. Kind of dial down the fact that this foundation is just a little bit too dark. So I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. powder brush and kind of go in here. So, I mean, I think it's a decent powder. I'm going to have to see how it wears and if it keeps my makeup in place, especially with the fact that that foundation is really radiant and dewy. It doesn't provide any extra coverage, which I really do like typically. So there's that. I'm going to have to update you like later on in the video how it's wearing and stuff, but off the bat, like, it's fine, but I'm not like super blown away by it. Before I get back into brows, I'm going to go back into my Milani eyeshadow palette and go into that green shade and run it down the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with this little lip brush actually and take it into that green shade, and we're just going to run it under the lower lash line. Last thing other than lips is going back into brows. So I'm going to take the Maybelline Brow Sculpt in the shade Blonde. It's a very tiny spoolie, which I appreciate because sometimes they have like huge ones when they're colored. Alright, so I'm just going to let that dry. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go into lips. And the lip product I'm trying out today is the new L'Oreal Matte Lip Crown. And this is in the shade Très Sweet. It looks like this. I also got this off of Amazon, but they sell it in stores and everywhere. I just saw it first on Amazon. So I just finished lighting my lips, and now I'm going to go into this. Oh! It just came out. It just flew out of the pencil and came out. What the heck? I just opened it like a normal person. I'm so mad. Well, I guess I'll still try to use it. It smells really good. This is stupid. I've never seen a lip product do that, like, before even using it. I mean, it's a nice formula. I like the color. I wasn't really fond of the pencil flying out. The pencil is nice. Like, the actual texture and everything. I really like the color. I'm not a big fan of it flying out. Maybe that was just a fluke. I don't know. Anyway, so on to the last step. I have Milani Rose Water Prep and Refresh. So this is actually like a prepping spray, is what it's labeled as, but I'm going to use it as a setting spray. Yeah, so here you go. It smells really nice. Actually feels really good too. So I finished my entire face, and I actually really liked the end result. I was kind of nervous that it was going to go poorly, especially the face makeup, but the face makeup actually kind of blew me away. You can totally see that pimple. Like, it's not, that foundation is not full coverage enough for that, but I was impressed by the texture of it and, like, how it applied. I was expecting it to be super not full coverage, really sheer, but it's not. So I'm excited to see how it wears so I can actually recommend a foundation to an older audience. And yeah, the face makeup looks really nice. I really like the eye makeup, and the lip, other than it flying out of the tube, is pretty. So real quick, I'm going to give you a rundown of each product, what I think of it off the bat. We're going to do check-ins today, and I'm going to give you a final check-in at the end of the night to kind of show you how everything wore. So for starters, the two eyeliners, the Maybelline and then the L'Oreal. If I had to pick one, I would go with the Maybelline. I like this one better. The application, or the applicator, is much easier to work with. This one is fine. This is probably something I would buy in a different color to like add a little accent of a wing or something if I were feeling like adventurous. I do think that this one is matte. It is definitely more matte than this one. So if you were looking for matte and you don't mind this applicator, go for it. It's really good. So far, there's nothing I don't like about it except for the applicator, which just isn't my favorite. The mascaras, definitely say that I like this one better. This one's fine if you are more of a natural lash kind of person. It does build up nicely, but this one is just way easier to work with if you were looking for something right off the bat, a little bit more oomph, a little less work. I like this one better for sure, and I'm excited to see how each of these wears. This one is perfectly fine, but I would say to go for it if you were more of a natural lash kind of person, and I'm interested to see if either one of them flakes or smudges or anything like that. So for the eyeshadow, this was interesting. I think actually, I skipped the eyeshadow putty. I hate this. Don't buy this. Go get the Makeup Revolution one. This is weird. I don't like it. I don't think it does a very good job of covering things. I don't think it does a very good job of smoothing a base down for eyeshadow to come, so just skip it. The eyeshadow palette itself, I think, is going to be good with regular eyeshadow primer. I think that the eyeshadow primer I used today really messed it up and didn't let it live to its full potential. I do like the way it ended up blending out. I think that this made the brown a little patchy because when I swatched it on my hand when I got the palette, it was not patchy at all, so I don't really know what was going on with that. The e.l.f. little glitter thing was really strange. It doesn't look rose gold at all. It looks silver. I like it, but if you are looking for this color, go with a Milani one because they are actually true to color when you are buying them and then when you are applying them. Yeah. So for primers, I actually liked this one. I do think it made my under eyes really smooth. Even though I didn't like the concealer very much, I do like this one a lot, and it was like $3 or something. The Matte Putty Primer I liked a lot. I think it did a really good job of making it look like I don't have any pores, and I'm very impressed with that. So yeah, I'm going to definitely update you on this and keep using it. For the Milani, I like it a lot. I think it would be really good if you have dry skin. It is extremely hydrating. It did a good job of hydrating the outer realms of my face. So yes, I'm excited to keep using this. Really surprised by this. Definitely the wrong color, but I actually think that it has pretty good coverage for being a serum foundation. Not for like a huge breakout like this, but my scarring was covered up all right. I do think that if you are older, it's very hydrating and you will like it a lot, and it actually does provide a decent amount of coverage. So I will keep you updated on if this breaks me out or anything. I really hope it doesn't break me out, just saying. So for the loose setting powder, I like it. I do think it comes in a really tiny compact, so you know that's a downside. It's kind of expensive, but with a combination of that primer, that matte putty primer, and this, I do think that my pores look amazing. By amazing, I mean invisible. So onto eyebrows, onto concealer. It was okay. It wasn't super impressive. I probably won't use it again. I'll probably take it back, to be honest. It was just, the color range is terrible. Yeah. Eyebrow products. I liked this okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I do think I will use it in the future. I'm really impressed by this. I like the way it has set my eyebrows. They are set, but not like crunchy and gross. I think that the color payoff in this is nice. Not too much, but nice. So like if I wanted to do, a more natural brow, then I could. So yeah, I actually really like this so far. And oh yeah, the lip pencil. Where did that thing go? So far I like it. Hopefully the pencil part coming out of the product packaging itself is not a common thing. Maybe that was just a fluke. But I like the color a lot. I like the feel. It kind of feels like a matte lipstick, but a wearable one, not one that's like completely drying on my lips. Yeah, so I'm going to see you guys in a few check-ins today. So why don't you tell us what you think of this makeup?
I mean, I don't really like it that much. It kind of makes her look a little more orange. Also, the coverage isn't as strong. Also, kind of like thick from normally what she uses. So, yeah.
Do you like my eyes though?
Yeah, your eyes look good.
Okay.
I like them.
Thanks.
Just not my favorite foundation.
Yeah, it's not mine either. I love you.
I love you.
Alright, so here's my final check-in. Obviously you can see the makeup has taken a turn. My foundation on my nose is completely worn off. It's made this pimple have a white head, and it's also come off on my chin. My lipstick didn't last at all, really, and it crumbled. I didn't like the lipstick at all in the end, even though I tried to give it a fair shot after flying out of the container. I do like my eyebrows, and my eyeshadow does look pretty good. There's some mascara on each side just a little bit, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I actually think I had an okay makeup day aside from the fact that my foundation was orange and apparently it looked cakey. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep trying that foundation out and see if I can recommend it to anybody. I do think it's pretty good at covering, but maybe might just be a little bit heavy. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell down below, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I hope you guys are liking my videos for 2020 so far, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!